You know, it's my fault for actually thinking that there might be something worth saving in this Raheem Morris press conference. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. With the presidential-like answers that Raheem Morris gave at his press conference yesterday, talking about the Falcons' loss to the Miami Dolphins, he might have thought that he sounded like he was saying the right thing. The fact is, though, he completely indicted himself. Welcome in, Falcons fans, to Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. On today's episode, I'm going to tell you what Raheem said in his most recent press conference and why he's just continuing to dig the hole even deeper. So he did address the media after the Dolphins' loss, and I'm sure he was ready for the barrage of hard-hitting questions from Big J journalism, right? Well, you would have thought so, but Raheem Morris did what Raheem Morris does at the press conference. He just kind of talked. He talked about the state of the team, and he talked about Zac Robinson and the offense as well. Now, I do want to give you a very, very quick update on our subscriber numbers. That's actually incorrect. That's supposed to be 44,000 because we just hit 44,000 Falcons fans. Thank you guys so much for helping us get there. We are 999 subs away. There it is. From our next milestone of 45K. I do want to say thank you to everybody that's hit that subscribe button for every single bit of Atlanta Falcons coverage all season long. So what were those talking points that Raheem Morris had at his press conference? Three big ones that you need to know. The first one was, we got to get back to practice. Got to get back to practice. Just got to start from square one and get back to practice. Okay. You got to get back to practice, Raheem. That's great to know. But what are you going to do at practice? Like, what specifically are you going to do after that embarrassment of a loss? Because he was asked about it. They were asked about the offensive line. They were asked about the offense and the defense. And he said, yeah, well, just didn't play well. We need to go back and give those guys another week of practice. Go out and get better because that's all you can do. Well, yeah, in theory, if you were to say, like, in a nutshell, you have to be better. Duh, of course you do. You just got shellacked 34-10 by one of the worst teams in the NFL. Of course you have to get better. But if that's all you can really do is get back to practice, really? Raheem, you're a football mind. I'm a YouTube host. You want to know what I would do if I was at the press conference? And they said, hey, Moose, Coach Moose, I'll put on my coaching cap today. Coach Moose, what do you got to do in order to correct the mistakes? I'd say, well, first and foremost, we're going to go back and watch film. We're going to study every mistake that we had against the Miami Dolphins, and we're going to correct those mistakes by pounding every single play that was supposed to be run correctly until we can't get it wrong. We're going to also switch up the offensive scheme. We're going to go back to the whiteboard, and we're going to say, okay, scrap what we did last week. How do we attack the New England Patriots next week and what they do really, really well and what they don't do well? Newsflash, they stop the run really well. So you're probably not going to be able to power run against Milton Williams and that defensive line. You can also create belief in your players. You can rally the team together. Call a team meeting and say, what I did, what I gave you on that sideline was not up to snuff. I need to be better. I will be better. And then let the players share their voice. How do you guys feel we need to get better? Take some accountability, Raheem. Don't just put this on the players. Yes, the players go out and execute. You're in charge of the game plan. You're the general. They're the soldiers. If your only solution is to get back to practice and get better, you clearly have no idea what the problem is. You don't. Because I just gave you 4 things that you can do to get better. But the only thing that you continue to say is, well, we just got to get back to practice, be better, put our heads down, grind it out. It clearly shows me that there was no game plan. It was just, we stunk. Oh, well, be better next week. Like, I'm a guy on YouTube, Raheem. I weigh 185 pounds. I'm 5'9". And I'm telling you how to run your football team. It's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. And if we go back to the last 2 games, because that's really when the problem started, right? After the Bills win, you're riding high. You go into Sunday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers, you lay a dud. You go up against the Miami Dolphins, you lay a dud. In those 2 games specifically, you are averaging 252 yards per game, 199 passing yards per game, 53 rushing yards a game, a whopping 10 points per game. And if this was 1960, you might have pulled out those W's. And first downs per game, 15 per game. Now, why does that matter? Well, the Raiders, by the way, are the worst team in the NFL in getting first downs per game at 15.9. You're averaging less than what the league average is in the last 2 games. So basically, you're like the 33rd team. Congratulations, Zac Robinson and Raheem Morris. I'm glad you got to get back to practice and figure it out, man. That's good stuff. So let's put on your coaching cap for a second. If you, the Falcons fan, had to get better week to week, how would you do it? I gave you my 4 reasons. I gave you my 4 examples on how I would address this team. But you put on your coaching cap. You're the fan. You have a voice. You let me know in the comment section down below. Let's go to number 2. Our second talking point. This one's my favorite. I have so much confidence in Zac Robinson. Oh, God, I love Z-Rob. I love him. He's got the best intentions at heart. He's going to get this turned around, really? Because I've got some really cool analytics that shows he has no idea what he's doing. I'm going to get to those reasons and those analytics coming up here in just a little bit. But first, got to tell you about today's presenting sponsor, and that's our friends over at Harry's. Look, as the hairiest guy you know, this is a personal product that I use every single day. You should see all the Harry stuff I have in my house currently. I love Harry's when it comes to my personal grooming products. Did your old razor dull way too fast? Did it irritate your neck? Did it cost way too much? I mean, let's be honest, $30 for 8 refills is a total scam. Harry's Plus has advanced pivoting systems to reach every corner of your face. This refined blade tech for a closer, smoother shave and weighted handle is the heaviest handle they've ever had for added control and comfort. With Harry's Plus, you get barbershop quality shaves with German engineered blades. Each blade is honed at 3 different angles to cut hair cleanly at the root without tugging. Why would you pay $30 for refills when Harry's gives you better blades for a fraction of the cost? Harry's has launched their most advanced razor ever, and it is still cheaper than the Gillette Fusion 5. For a limited time, our listeners can get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/chat. That set includes the all-new Harry's Plus razor, 1 refined 5-blade cartridge, a 2-ounce foaming shave gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. Just head to harrys.com/chat to claim the offer, and after you purchase, they're going to say, "Where'd you hear about Harry's?" And you could say, "That Harry schmuck over there at Falcons Today, Moose, he sent me over to you." Okay, so let's bring up what Raheem had to say about Z-Rob. And I quote, "I've got so much confidence in Zac." Really? Of course you did. Of course you have confidence because, again, you're supposed to say that as the head coach, right? I know there's going to be some Falcons fans that are going to be like, "Moose, what do you want him to say? That he doesn't believe in him?" No, I get it. I get it. I understand why you have to back your staff. But does he really, like in his heart of hearts, have confidence in Zac Robinson? Because in 2025, here's your advanced offense. Points per game, 17.1, 28th in the league. First downs per game, 19.3, 15th in the league. So, okay, congratulations, you're top half. Fourth quarter points per game, 4.3, that's 29th. Touchdowns a game, 1.7, 29th. Points per play, 0.273, which is 28th in the NFL. You don't find the end zone. And correct me if I'm wrong, producer Reed, isn't the name of the game of football to put points on the board? Yep. Not to move the ball down the field. Just a little, FYI in case you didn't know the rules of football. And by the way, since last year with Kirk Cousins at the helm, the Falcons have gotten statistically worse in almost every single category. And it's not close. Like there's only a couple of things that this year's offense looks a little bit better than. And that's because Bijan Robinson to start the year was on fire. He's since cooled off because teams are like, hey, if we take away Bijan, there's nothing else. And by the way, sad but true, the only teams the Falcons score more than are the Saints, 1-7, the Browns, 2-5, the Raiders, 2-5, and the Titans, 1-7. Those teams have a combined 6 wins. A lot of faith we have in Z-Rob. He's doing a great job. So what do you have confidence in exactly? to move the football from your 20-yard line to the 50, congratulations. Unless Parker Romo starts drilling 75-yard field goals, I don't think that's going to work. Like, guys, this isn't hard. Raheem, this isn't hard. And then asked about specifically the X's and O's. Like, how did the Dolphins beat you from a football perspective? And he said this: they took away our lifeline. You mean Bijan. They took away Bijan. And that's not a shot at Tyler Algier. But clearly, Bijan being one of the best talents in the NFL, that's your lifeline. Mike McDaniel, a guy who has literally been rumored to be, kind of packing his bags as we speak to get out of Miami because everybody believes they're going to clean house, said, we kept them one-dimensional. So they said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take away Bijan. Now what do you got? And Raheem was like, oh, that was kind of it. You took away our fastball. It's like, do you have a changeup? Do you have a slider? How about a curve? Nope. I throw a 90-mile-an-hour flatline fastball right down the park. And, of course, because these are professional athletes, they're going to knock that out of the park. Here's some other offensive facts that you had against the Dolphins. You started Kirk Cousins, so they knew as well, hey, they don't have QB1. You had no Drake London. So they're like, well, that takes away their number one passing option. They're already down a receiver because Ray McCloud is gone, and you have a banged-up Darnell Mooney. It's almost like the Dolphins were like, we dare you to throw. Please, Kirk Cousins, beat us. And Raheem is seriously admitting that he had no backup plan for the Dolphins taking away the run? Are you psychotic? Are you that brain dead? Are you incompetent? Because anybody, producer Reed, myself, the fans in the nosebleeds at the Bends were saying, hey, we should, probably not just like have a one-dimensional offense going against the Dolphins. I mean, it was just, yeah, that's true. They did leave already. Leave already. And then also the Falcons media members are asking the tough questions. Finally, there's some balls being asked against Raheem because they're sick and tired of it too. They said, given the poor red zone percentage, ridiculous overcommitment to the pistol, and refusal to utilize play action, how is it that Zac Robinson is still employed? This offense on paper should not be capable of such misses and wild inconsistencies. How does the organization not see what everybody else does? Why? It's very simple. Because they aren't scheme coaches. You know who's a scheme coach? Sean Payton. You know who's a scheme coach? Ben Johnson. You know who's a scheme coach? Shanahan, McVay, Andy Reid. The top coaches in the NFL, they all understand if this isn't working, I pivot to this. But Raheem's not a scheme guy. He's not a motivator. He's not an architect. He's not a play designer like Andy Reid. He's a personnel guy. Do you remember when they hired all those coaches and they were like, hey, when we start winning here, we're going to have the replacements to back up the players or the coaches that end up leaving us. And his personnel, by the way, sucks. So what does Raheem do well? Nothing. That's the ultimate, takeaway. He just doesn't do anything right. And, of course, Arthur Blank and Terry Fontenot, they're going to try to save face, so they're not going to fire him until the end of the year. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is being a Falcons fan. So I just want to say thank you again for helping us get to 44K. I'm going to continue to say it like I see it. If I finally see the proper statements from this head coach and this coaching staff and translating onto the field, I will give you more positive updates. Until then, I can only give you what they're actually saying. Rise up, Falcons fans. I'll be back later. Be cool.